Hey guys, it's 𝗪𝗛𝗡𝗚 here, and welcome back to another build challenge. So unfortunately for the month of February, I didn't really build anything suitable for Valentine's Day, but this challenge is going to be a sort of remedy to that. I will be attempting to build a house using only plants in the game, so we will not have things like doors, windows, walls. Everything will be made strictly from Mother Nature. Now, apart from those factors, I don't really have any other build restrictions. I do want to make sure we have all of the essential items and that the build actually does function. Now, of course, returning once more, we do have 𝗪𝗛𝗡𝗞𝗦 here, and we will be using him to playtest everything in this build because it is going to be super unorthodox. But with that said, I'm going to cross my fingers and we will get started on this really wacky build. Alright, so first things first, I think what I'm actually going to do is use the terrain paint and possibly paint an outline for what I envision for this house. I don't really know how well this is going to work, but we can always erase the lines we don't need later on. Alright, so I think I'll start about here. I think I will do 4 tiles across just like this, and then maybe a little divot just like so to mark the entryway. Ooh, we could have some very interesting curves in this build, and I'm not really sure how the layout is going to work. I think I do want some kind of column here, so let me maybe mark this area just like this. I'll extend this a little farther out this way and probably add some kind of curved bump out over here just like this. All right, let's bring this back, maybe about 6 tiles? Is that too small? I do want to have some kind of backyard area as well, and I think I do want that area to also be covered. So let me bring this back just like this, and maybe have some kind of other bump out situation over here. All right, close it like this, and then maybe bring it out over here so we're more in line with the grid, and then possibly put a few more columns maybe over here and here. So I think this is a decent plan. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at, you guys. I feel like this looks like some kind of animal cracker, but this is our base. I'm going to use this to lay down our walls per se, but of course they will be made out of plants. So let's see what we have to work with. Okay, so immediately I'm going into the shrub section. We do have a lot of stuff like this that could actually work. But I'm thinking that debug could possibly be better. We do also have this, which is actually really cool. And I could try and build up walls like this. This could be very modular, if you will. It is super tall for my sim though, so I'm not really sure if that's going to work. For flowers, we also have some of these pieces from the romantic garden pack, which actually may not be too bad. Ooh, I kind of like this option. This is really nice. I was going for the red at first, but I thought it was a little on the nose with the romantic aspect. I definitely have to consider what we're going to do for the door as well. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. I can probably put one more probably over here, and then very carefully create this curved area. So it's not going to be perfect because these wall pieces are pretty large, but I think something like this could do the trick. Now, if we want windows, I think I can actually use this piece once more. And if I size it up, it is kind of tall, but I actually think it works fairly decently. So let me place one like this. I'll put another one here just like this. Will I have room for a small window? Maybe, but I think this is going to be a solid wall, unfortunately. So let me do 2 of these. Another curved room, which is going to be weird. I didn't really plan for it to be so angular because this is really the only way I can do it. But I think it will be okay. I think this could be maybe a bathroom or a kitchen. Not really too sure just yet. Honestly, you guys, I am very worried about the roof. I'm not really sure what is going to work to cover this build, and knowing the Sims, the plants in this game are not going to protect us from the elements, but we're going to do the best we can. If it does not work out, I'm just hoping that we can access everything in this build, because of course we do have to put in beds, appliances, and all the regular items. Now, like I said, I did want some kind of column here. Unfortunately, I cannot use traditional columns or pillars in the game, so I will have to find something to create that element. We could do this really funky bush and kind of stack them, so that's one possibility. Alternatively, I can use this option from base game and just stack it up. So I think that's probably going to be our best bet. And hopefully it doesn't stick out too much from the build itself. Honestly, you guys, I think I am a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of flowers here. So I think what I might do is actually blend in some of these cube pieces as well, just to try and break up the texture here. So let me go ahead and put some of these in. You know, it's going to impede upon the space ever so slightly, but I think it's going to look a little bit better this way. All right, can we still get a little bit of curve? I think we can, so this is actually not too bad. Yeah, okay. I think this is looking a little bit more architectural, if you will, a little less rose garden. All right, I made the executive decision and removed the hedges here because I think this would be a nice area for some kind of flower bed. It will be flowers on flowers, but I'm pretty sure we'll find something that will work. Okay, do we still want the 2 columns here? Maybe? I'm not really sure how it's going to work with this curved moment, but perhaps I can put a column about here, and I'll probably erase the guidelines on the other side. All right, I think we got the general base of the house down. What I'm going to do is actually erase the outlines for now because we no longer need them as a guide. All right, I think we're good with some pebbles from base game, and I'll just gently paint in a walkway just like this. And then what I'm also going to do is actually add a little bit of soil around the bushes as well, just to add that element of realism. All right, here we go, just like this, all the way around the entire perimeter. Honestly, you guys, something tells me that this kind of house actually exists somewhere. There are some very wild Airbnbs out there, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think they've actually made houses that you can sleep in that are made out of ice. So if they can make it out of ice, plants should not be any exception. Now, of course, we do have the big problem of the flooring, which obviously this is completely locked out to us. We do have some possible stone textures that could work, so let me see if something is viable. I'm thinking this option from Get Together could do the trick. We're going with that whole romantic garden feel, and I think this stone still feels in line with the theme, so let me try it out. Now, I will say, you guys, I will go back and add a little bit of that soil texture on the inside as well, because as you can see, hedges and flowers are not going to grow directly out of stone, so we do have to make it somewhat realistic even on the inside. I actually do really enjoy how the flooring matches with the flowers, so that is a big plus. All we have to do now is grab that soil texture once more and outline the perimeter on the inside. I'm also going to go in and add just a few pebbles back here because I do want some kind of backyard area. So let me go ahead and pat it in just like this. For the backyard, I'm not really too sure what I have in mind just yet, but because of the really quirky nature of the house, I figured let me go a little bit more whimsical on the backyard. So I'm creating a few circular sections just like this, and I'll probably add in some smaller flowers to create some borders along these paths. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't use any mods, so something like Tool is completely out of the question, and I'll need to find something that can go across the build itself. We do have options like this from Island Living, which are actually not too bad. They can cover quite a bit of the area if I alt place them. We do have options like this from base game, which is also sort of sufficient. Ooh, better yet, you guys, I think there's actually an option from Debug, and I do believe it's either in base game or the Get Together pack. I can't remember exactly, but I think there is a hedge that will better match what we're using here. So let me go ahead and see if I can find that option. Aha! Here it is, you guys. I think this will actually match a little bit more effectively, but now we just have to go in and fill this entire space with these hedges, so this is going to take a little while. Now, on a side note, you guys, if you do know of a house in real life that was made completely out of plants, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Honestly, this world is full of weird and wonderful things, so I'm sure something like this does exist in real life. My biggest fear is that this whole building will not work and that somehow the objects will just interfere with Townie, and it's going to be a sad day if that does in fact happen. We're going to keep Townie right there because I do think it is pretty funny to have him boxed in, and all I have to do is find the shrub once more and just get this roof done. Ooh, curved roof is tricky. I'm not really sure how I'm going to approach this one. I think I could probably do it like this and maybe stagger them in a very careful way. All right, let's finesse the curve just like this. It's going to be a very dense roof, but I think this is the best way to keep the original shape of the build intact. All right, guys, halfway point. It is a labor of love, but it is slowly getting there. Thankfully, this part of the house is a little bit more simple to roof. It's not too complex, so I think we should be wrapping this up momentarily. All right, we're in the home stretch here, you guys, and we're just finishing off this little bump out just like so. It is kind of weird. I would say it's more octagonal in shape, but I think these smaller hedges will do the trick here. Now what I also want to do is actually add a few more of these pillars as well, and I do think I want to add them along the corners just as another accent. So let me place a few just like this and mirror what we did at the front of the house. Alright, and in a very ironic twist of fate, now we move on to landscaping, which, if you haven't noticed already, we do have tons of plants and flowers already. But of course, this is just the shell of the house, and I do want to add some nice floral elements and possibly some nice fountains or statues as well. The question is, what do I actually use at this point, given that there are literally flowers everywhere? I do think we need flowers with a little bit more height in this build, so I'm thinking something like this from the Romantic Garden pack. I could size it up just like this and probably put a few along the entrance area, especially along this wall because we do not have any windows. We're going to add a little bit of Valentine's Day flavor in here and go with this nice rich red just like so. I think for this area, this feels like it warrants some kind of flower bed, so I'm not too sure what it'll be just yet. But I'm thinking we will use more red here as well. Honestly, you guys, we do have this woohoo bush, which is actually not too bad. It does kind of match the flowers on the left. But of course, these leaves do resemble hearts as well. So I think it's almost a crime not to use it. So let me see if I can scale it down just a tad. Come to think of it, I wonder how these will actually work scaled down. I'm sure your Sims can still woohoo in them, but I'm not really sure what the animations are going to look like if they are shrunken down like this, because these leaves are important for keeping the game rated as it is. But I'll let you guys test it out. I'll let you guys figure out how that works, but we are not doing that here. All right, I think we will go back to base game. I will use this option in pink just to add another tone over here. And I'll probably leave an opening for something special in the middle in this area. I'm thinking it could be a really nice statue, possibly from the Romantic Garden pack. Honestly, there are a lot of really interesting objects that we could put here, but automatically I am drawn to this statue and also this statue as well. Ooh, I could actually put more back here, so let me actually mix up the couples. I'll put one of you like this and another one maybe accenting her like this. That could be really interesting. All right, just like that, and maybe next to him, sort of. Gonna glitch the object sim. All right, guys, I just realized that I am terrible at posing these romantic couples. Can we make them more romantic, perhaps? I'll put you over here, and then maybe you're gazing at her like this, I guess. All right, for you lovely ladies, I guess I can put you maybe over here and maybe you over here, and then just scoochy scooch just like this. I will do the same thing here with these two gentlemen and probably place them a little bit closer just like this. So I think this feels more intimate with all the couples, and I think this will be a very cool spot. I don't know, you guys. I'm looking at these bushes and flowers, and I'm just not too keen on all these reds and pinks. I think I'll actually revert these to more of a neutral color scheme, so possibly more white, more cream, maybe a little bit of lilac as well, and maybe that kind of tone could serve as the more romantic palette. Oh, I do love more of these flowers, you guys. I'm gonna be basic, I will reuse them, but honestly, they just work. I really love this palette, so let me go ahead and use them. There's something more subtly romantic about them, if you guys know what I mean. I'm kind of getting Versailles vibes. If we are in the royal garden, especially in front of the chateau, I feel like these flower choices would be appropriate. Ooh, we do have these lovely pieces from the Jungle Adventure pack, which I do think we should use. Ooh, better yet, let me see if I can actually use something like this and maybe use it in place of a doorway, perhaps? That could be a possibility. I'm going to place it here for now, and let me go into live mode and see if my sim can actually walk through it, which I really hope he can. All right, Townie, here we go. You're over here. Can I walk through this space? And yes, I can. All right. All right, that is perfect. I'm going to use one more, and I'm going to bring it to the back part of the build, so we have another back door here, just like this. Unfortunately, we still don't really have any trees, but I'm not really sure what trees would actually go with this build. For some odd reason, I do want to go flowery on the trees as well, which it might be a little bit much, but for some reason, I feel like it kind of fits with this build. So we could do something like this, possibly something from the Island Living pack. All right, guys, so I retract my words on the flowery trees. They unfortunately were just way too overwhelming with this build. Could my favorite birch tree do the trick here? Possibly? And yes, I think it actually does fit with this build. I do like how the bark matches a lot of the flowers and statues we have here. So let me put a few options just like this, kind of scaled down to mix up the sizing. At this point, I am ready to get rid of the mailbox and possibly find a more suitable option. For some odd reason, I am inclined to use this option, which does feel a little bit more classical, so I will go ahead and place it against the column just like this. I will also go ahead and use my favorite trash can and put it over here in the backyard just in the meantime. Alright guys, you know the drill. I'm going to add a little bit more soil beneath these trees and possibly a little bit of foliage beneath them as well, just to add that element of realism. Ooh, I actually don't mind these little tiny pops of pink. They're not too overwhelming, so I do like them. You guys know I'm super cautious with bold colors, but I think just a little tiny bit is not too bad here. All right, and with that, we are taking a little break from the outside, and we are finally working on the interior, which is fairly small, but I do think it will be a fairly cozy space nonetheless. The camera angle is going to be a little bit tight in here because obviously I cannot toggle walls or roofs, so yeah, this is going to be very interesting. With that said, this could be kind of an open concept. I'm thinking we can have maybe the kitchen along this area, the bathroom possibly over here, and then the bedroom area slash living area over in this space, which will have lots of fresh air coming through here. Going into the kitchen itself, I still want this to feel a little bit more luxurious, but given that this is a garden-like build, it should still feel a little bit more on the rustic or vintage side. I will try this option from the cottage living pack and probably use the counters from the pack as well. Ooh, better yet, I think we can possibly do parenthood. With that said, I think I will go for maybe a more brown color scheme like this, a nice kind of soil texture, if you will. All right, I think this combination is working fairly well. Let me just get a nice kitchen sink just like this, and I'll also match the fixtures with the appliances. Now, thinking logically about this, the bathroom definitely needs more privacy. So I'm going to pull some of these larger walls just like this. Like you guys saw, we do not have doors. However, I can use these draping vines or willow pieces from the Jungle Adventure pack. So I think I can probably dangle them maybe about here to serve as our doorway. All right, going inside, I do think we need a full bathtub. I think that will be fairly romantic. Ooh, this is going to be a hard pick, you guys, because we can go for a more natural look like these options. Very much made out of stone. We do have some wood elements. And then we also have these very romantic, more traditional options for the bathtub as well, which I'm not really sure which option I'm going with. I guess if I'm matching the kitchen, I should probably go with a more traditional option. So let me try this out. I will use possibly this option, I believe, from the cottage living pack. All right, I think for the other fixtures, I'll go a little bit simpler. I don't want to go too ornate, but just enough to match the style. And let me get a sink to match as well. Better yet, we probably need a double vanity. So let me bring these options from the Parenthood pack. And I think we can probably squeeze these along the wall just like this. All right, changing my mind over here, let me actually bring in a smaller piece so at least we have some kind of window for the bathroom area. All right, just like that. Perfect. Honestly, you guys, I have no idea how the plumbing is going to work in this build, but you know, it's The Sims, and somehow Sims just figure it out. So there we go. Double vanity inside a garden house. All right, guys, so unfortunately, the mirrors are just not working. They're not really sliding to the right angle I need them to be in. I could potentially add just one mirror over here, and that should be enough, but we will unfortunately have to say goodbye to our double vanity. So it is what it is, but I think it'll have to do the trick. Can we add some nice rose petals on the ground? I think we can. We do have some options from the City Living pack, which are not too bad. And I do think we have one more from the same pack as well, if I can find it. Yes, we do have some pink ones. Perfect. But I could also do them in white as well, so they're not so jarring. So possibly something like this could do the trick. It does lead in from the entrance, which is not too shabby. All right, let's add in some candles, and I think this should be a fairly romantic spot. Ooh, yes, let's use these from the holiday celebration pack, and I'm going to kind of scatter them around the tub itself, just like this. I cannot place them too close to the wall though, because obviously they would catch on fire, but I think this should be safe enough. I also do like the option of having a changing screen here, so let me go ahead and grab that from the Island Living pack. Alright, here you are, perfect, and I will also recolor you to match the rest of the house. You know what, you actually already match, so that works perfectly. I think I will leave it as is. I'm going to add a few of these ropes from base game as well, just trying to add to the more luxurious feel of this bathroom. I'm going to use my imagination and say that branches are secretly holding these up, because otherwise, I'm not really sure how it's working. Ooh, we could even do a small accent table here, and maybe a little bit of bubblies per se. Let's do a smaller table just like this, and I'll probably put the candles roughly over here next to it. Do we have the VIP bucket? I do believe we have it. And yup, there it is, perfect. All right, we are moving back out over here. We will work on the bedroom next. So let me actually bring out these once more. And the bedroom will be in this space here. When I think romantic, I always think of canopy beds for some reason. I think it's because you can kind of close them up and have more privacy that way. So let me go ahead and find a good option. And I'm guessing we could probably do either the Island Living pack. We do have the option from the City Living pack as well. All right, moving forward, we are using the Island Living option. I think it does match the colors a little bit more effectively and does fit the more romantic vibe as well. Let us get some lovely end tables. I will keep it simple and use the matching nightstands as well, and possibly more candles or even lanterns to really cozy up the space. Oh, these are really nice. Let me pull these from City Living just like this. I'm going to match the rest of the design and use possibly this love seat from the Island Living pack. Ooh, Realm of Magic actually has a matching wood tone. That is a shocker. It's a first for The Sims, but it will do. The last thing I probably want to place is some kind of standing mirror. So let me go ahead and add that. And then possibly a nice candlelight beside it as well, because I imagine this will be pretty dark in this build. All right, I really do like this option from base game, and I think it's close enough in the wood tones. You guys know how problematic that can be, but I think it'll do. And let me just get a nice standing lamp to finish off the space. For this space, I'm going to be just a little bit safer and use this option from the City Living pack just like this. And I'll probably bring a few more of these throughout the build as well. I'm going to put one in the corner of the kitchen just like this, and then another one in the bathroom as well, because I can imagine it will be pretty dark in this space. All right, we will have more rose petals because why not? And I think the center can actually be possibly some kind of living space, sort of like a lounge perhaps. So let me grab a few items for that. For this build, I'm actually thinking that the dining space can go on the outside, and we will have a nice cozy space to lounge on the inside instead. Going to place in a nice coffee table just like so, with a few more refreshments, and I'm thinking we could even do the object from the Eco Lifestyle pack. Ooh, we could actually pair that with the tea set, possibly from the Paranormal pack or the Tiny Living pack, and I think that will be perfect here. Now we are currently in the nighttime view, which is actually looking fairly decent if I say so myself. I do want to bring out some of these candles from the City Living pack. So I think this will be a really nice way to light the outside. Ooh, on second thought, we do have to map out this backyard. I completely forgot. So let me actually switch back to the afternoon and get this cleaned up. Honestly, I do like how this is arranged right now. I'm actually going to get rid of this woohoo bush because it's just not really fitting, but I will create a border along these different areas with a smaller plant just like this. As you guys know, this is usually a sort of tedious process, but this was not nearly as bad as our crazy roofing situation. So here we are, you guys, here we are. I'm also going to go ahead and add some soil beneath the statues because I would like some flowers beneath them as well. We do need to cover up a little tiny bit of the clipping, which is always a little bit bothersome, but honestly, it could be worse in The Sims. It could be worse. I will go ahead and actually use some flowers from the Island Living pack and just very carefully bump them up just like so. Then of course, these lovely options from the Romantic Garden pack, which were used in the front yard area. Better yet, I actually do not mind covering the base of the statue. I will duplicate this effect over here just like this, and I think the statues should be all set. All right, we are back to the night view now because I do need to get a grasp of the lighting situation back there. So let me bring back some of these blooming lights from the City Living pack, And because we will have our dining table here, I do want plenty of lighting in this space. All right, I think this looks fairly decent. And we do need to find our little tiny dining table because there will be only 2 Sims dining here. For the dining table, I'm actually going to try and use this option from the Paranormal Stuff Pack. And then let me find 2 accompanying chairs as well. Honestly, this chair from Seasons fits so well here. It just feels very organic and very fantastical along with the rest of the build. So I think this is great, and I will just get a little candle for the center. And I think we should be good to go with this space. We do need a tiny opening for the trash can, which I totally forgot, so let me adjust this very quickly, just like so. All right, the outdoor area is more or less complete. Let me just go in very quickly on the inside just to make sure everything is up to par. You know, a nice fruit basket could do the trick, so let me grab one of those, and I'll probably use the option from the Parenthood pack. All right, Townie, this is the test here. Let's see if we can go inside just like this. Looks like we're off to a decent start. Can we go over here? Perfect. Can we sleep in the bed? Yes, we can. Awesome. I do believe the dresser should be fine, so yes, it is working fairly well, even though I did not fix my other outfits. Love seat is functioning well. Perfect. And can we just practice some speech over here? Yes, we can. Awesome. All right, love seat is a little bit of a squeeze, but Townie does make it through. Perfect. But of course, we do have the kitchen, so this will be a little bit trickier. Let us wash our hands first and possibly make some brownies, perhaps? Let us do that. Going to test out the fridge and oven, and I think we should be good to go. He even has the counter working, which is perfect. All right, brownies are cooking. The house is not burnt down yet, even though logically it could very well be, but this is The Sims, and it looks like the kitchen is working perfectly fine. The last stop on the inside is the bathroom, which is fairly romantic itself. We do have some lovely candles here and rose petals. Can we get inside? Yes, we can. Perfect. Getting out of the bath now, the sink is functioning well. And of course, we do have our little toilet over here, which does in fact work. So that is absolutely perfect as well. Let us move outside to the lovely backyard area with our private dining spot. And we can get through the jungle vines once more. Can we sit down over here? Yes, we can. Yes, perfect. And can we sit over here? Yes, we can. Perfect. All right, guys, so that is pretty much it on the house made purely out of plants in The Sims 4. Obviously, this was a pretty quirky challenge, and I will say that I was surprised I was able to get a house that actually functioned with the essential objects on the inside. As always, please feel free to let me know how I did. Did you love the house? Was it a little too weird for your taste? Or would you be interested on taking this challenge on yourself? Either way, you're also more than welcome to share your ideas for future build challenges as well. On that note, I will catch you all in the next build challenge. And of course, just like always, this has been Townie Sim Builds, signing off. Thank you so much for watching, guys.